Hello everyone, my name is Elizabeth and this is my presentation on critical period effects in second language acquisition. Have you ever tried learning a second language as an adult? Maybe you were wanting to travel to a different country and wanted to learn the language to be able to communicate with others there easily, or you had to take a language class in high school or in college, which for most of us, that's the case. There are many different methods that you can use to learn a second language, such as Rosetta Stone and Duolingo. If you tried learning a second language, you probably found it pretty difficult. I know I did. Even working at your own pace and learning at your own pace, it's still pretty hard. So question is, why is that? Well, the critical period hypothesis states that language acquisition is an example of biologically limited learning that occurs only during a critical period that lasts from early infancy until puberty, and it doesn't only affect first language acquisition, but could also extend to second language acquisition. Uh, the, there is a lot of evidence of the critical period hypothesis. There is documented cases of kids that were abused and neglected and socially isolated, such as Isabel and Jeannie that we learned about in class, as well as deaf children of hearing parents recovering from aphasia and language disorders. So why is it so hard? Neuroplasticity is the brain's ability to change, and we know that a child's brain is more plastic than an adult's brain, and because language is such a complex process, it includes brain changes. So as we get older, it just gets harder and harder to learn another language. There was a study done on 46 native Chinese or Korean speakers who were learning English as a second language. And prior to the test, they were exposed to English speakers for about 5 years. Early arrivals came to the US before age 15, and late arrivals came to the US after age 17. The study showed a clear and strong relationship between age of arrival in the US and performance. Subjects who began acquiring English in the US at an earlier age obtained higher scores, and ones that began later in age obtained lower scores. So, in conclusion, from all of these studies, we can see that the critical period does affect our ability to acquire a second language, and kids can learn it more easily. Good language acquisition is possible after puberty, but won't fully acquire the language as a native speaker of that language would. Um, but for better results, it's preferable to learn a language when you're still within the critical period, so from early infancy to age 13. But don't be afraid to try and learn a second language. It's possible. You may not fully acquire it to the full extent, but you'll do pretty well. These are my references, and thank you so much for watching my presentation.